Jon Rahm, Spaniard, has won 3 of the first 5 tournaments on the PGA Tour.
Wow.
He's won 5 of the last 9 times he's played, dating back to the end of last season. Guy is running away with the points championship. The big story is LIV, Saudi Super League, starts its second year this weekend. They're playing in what they call LIV Mexico, okay? They stole 35 players last year from the PGA Tour, the suspensions of Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, blah, 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 blah. Nobody paid any attention to the LIV. They've now started year 2. And right there in front of them, before they tee off, they're expecting coverage and publicity. They didn't sign anybody in the offseason. They signed 5 scrubs to fill out their 48-man roster. No marquee names. I mean, they still have Dustin Johnson, and they still have Cam Smith and Phil Mickelson, etc. But to start the LIV, no publicity at all. Why? Well, what Jon Rahm has done. Why? What Tiger Woods did on his comeback. Why? Everybody's talking about the Masters, and Tiger is going to play at Augusta. So lost on the horizon of news stories is anything that relates to Greg Norman's group. So, and they have a TV contract, but the first round on CW6 is only going to be on the app. It's not going to be on Channel 6 in San Diego. So there just doesn't seem to be any momentum, despite all the pronouncements by Greg Norman that we're revolutionizing golf. Well, I don't think so. How do other people think about it? Dustin Johnson and Sergio Garcia just lost their 2 big endorsements. Adidas has dropped them as spokesman for their gear. Why? Nobody's paying attention. Dustin Johnson wearing Adidas gear playing over in Saudi Arabia. So it's, to me, I don't think there's any need for it. Do we ache a little bit because marquee names who would be at the top of the leaderboard in the PGA Tour, Torrey Pines included, aren't here because they're getting ready to go play year 2 in Saudi Arabia? But we've developed new names. I mean, Jon Rahm is spectacular. Rory McIlroy's kind of become the face of golf because of Tiger's injuries. And we got Xander Schauffele and we got Collin Morikawa. So there are new guys that are kind of surfacing and bubbling that are probably going to be the stars. Right now, everybody's chasing Jon Rahm. So are you interested in LIV?
Well, I'm interested in those 35 players that left to go play in the LIV. But, you know, if Greg Norman has said that the LIV is going to revolutionize golf, well, what's that vision? I mean, other than, you know, providing better pay for the golfers, what do the leaders of the LIV want to accomplish? What's their goal?
Well, their goal is paydays, team concept. Nobody cares about team concept. I don't care about Phil Mickelson's 4-man team. Everybody cares about Jon Rahm and, you know, is there going to be a 19th hole against Morikawa? I mean, Jon Rahm's, what he did last weekend, for example, just phenomenal. Hit a 51-foot birdie putt on 16. Came back and sank a critical must-win putt on 18 to win last week's tournament. We're not seeing any of that in the LIV because we can't see the tournaments, and nobody's paying any attention to it because it's hardly any of them are here. And the only places that they're here on Trump courses in the U.S., and they can't sell tickets or giving tickets away. The whole concept that Greg Norman has proposed, to me, it just doesn't work. And those guys' legacy, they took the money and ran. I mean, if I mention Phil Mickelson now, do you feel the same about Phil Mickelson now as you did 2 years ago or 5 years ago when he was our icon, our homegrown product?
I mean, he's off the radar. You know, so I mean, has the LIV concluded a deal with CW, or is that still floating out there?
No, they've got a deal with CW, but they're not. CW has decided not to televise the first day of the 3-day tournament. So you'll be able to see Saturday, Sunday at the tournament in Mexico, but what are you going to see there? These guys putting and chipping, and there's no fans. There's no fans around the greens. I mean, it's the most absurd thing I've ever seen. So we'll give them their space to do what they do, but I don't think that America needs another golf tour, just like America doesn't need another spring football league.